Welcome back to our traversal of Alfred Lord Tennyson's elegiac sequence In Memoriam on the death of his beloved Arthur Henry Hallam. In this time of global crisis, we are all entering this dark night of the soul. There's so many things that we are losing, such grief to manage. And in this poem, we've got a profound guidebook into these dark places of the heart. How do we survive, and how do we live with the kinds of darkness that we have to live with? So in the cantos we're looking at today, there's, I think, a serious grappling by Tennyson with the possibility that poetic fancy may deal too glibly with the crisis that he's confronting, and he will work his way through a rising above his own condition towards an apocalyptic kind of overview of his situation. And this will give his poetry a greater depth as he proceeds through this crisis of grief. As mentioned last time, Canto 9 begins a subsequence in this elegiac series of poems on the ship that bears the body of Arthur to England from Trieste. Canto 10 follows Canto 9 in the sense that Tennyson wants to imagine the ship enjoying a calm voyage. In Canto 10, we're going to see a difference, though, in how Tennyson handles this theme. Canto 10. I hear the noise about thy keel. I hear the bells struck in the night. I see the cabin window bright. I see the sailor at the wheel. Thou bring'st the sailor to his wife, and travelled men from foreign lands, and letters unto trembling hands, and thy dark freight, a vanished life. So bring him. We have idle dreams. This look of quiet flatters thus our homebred fancies. O to us, the fools of habit, sweeter seems to rest beneath the clover sod that takes the sunshine and the rains, or where the kneeling Hamlet drains the chalice of the grapes of God, than if with thee the roaring wells should gulf him fathom deep in brine, and hands so often clasped in mine should toss with tangle and with shells. Again, Cantos 9 and 10 are sharing the same imagination of Tennyson's, that the ship have a calm, especially night voyage. And as in Canto 9, in 10, he's addressing the ship. And so we hear in stanza 3, which is the crucial one for understanding this particular lyric. So bring him, ship. We have idle dreams. This look of quiet flatters thus our homebred fancies. The interpretive crux here is, what is this look of quiet? And I think it has to be this imagined calm sailing of the ship that he's wished upon the ship in the previous canto. So in a way, in each of the lines, he's emphasizing the action of his imagination. And what is it that this imagination has put before us? Oh, to us, the fools of habit, sweeter seems what? To be buried in the earth than to be lost at sea. So he's saying, you know, it's better to have this corpse back and buried in the earth than to have it tossed about in the seaweed and shells. That notion fills him with horror in the last stanza, right? This the thought that this hand that had clasped mine so often would be entangled with this sea life at the bottom of the ocean. But the setup for this comparison, that I'd rather have Arthur's body in the sod or under that. And there's a very interesting phrase in the penultimate stanza, right? Or where the kneeling Hamlet drains the chalice of the grapes of God. The kneeling Hamlet would be the town in prayer, on its knees, receiving the Eucharistic chalice. But that there's a lot of resonance with saying the kneeling Hamlet. You might think of the character in the Shakespearean play where we might have some kind of indecision submitting to what's inevitable, drinking the chalice, which would be the chalice of the wrath of God, the chalice that Jesus has to take in the Garden of Gethsemane and gets played out in the Passion. The whole comparison between being buried under the ground or in the sea, we're fools of habit to think that it matters, basically, that it's not going to matter to a corpse where it ends up. So that fools of habit has another Shakespearean resonance, I think, the fools of time, or time's fool, we see from the sonnets. And how is Tennyson being a fool here? In seeking solace or calm or peace in these fancies or dreams or this imaginative scenario that he set up in the previous canto of a quiet voyage. This is all just fancy to think it matters whether the body makes it back to the graveyard or not. And that actually flows into the next canto. So this subsequence, which again is the earliest thing written for In Memoriam, this is showing us a different narrative structure than the first cantos we looked at, because these are bleeding into each other. Canto 11. Calm is the morn without a sound, calm as to suit a calmer grief, and only through the faded leaf the chestnut pattering to the ground. Calm and deep peace on this high wold, and on these dews that drench the firs, and all the silvery gossamers that twinkle into green and gold. Calm and still light on yon great plain that sweeps with all its autumn bowers, and crowded farms and lessening towers, to mingle with the bounding main. Calm and deep peace in this wide air, these leaves that redden to the fall, and in my heart, if calm at all, if any calm, a calm despair. Calm on the seas and silver sleep, and waves that sway themselves in rest, and dead calm in that noble breast, which heaves but with the heaving deep. So what was set up in the previous canto was a kind of skepticism about whether it matters that the poetic imagination is imagining a calm voyage and a calm return of this body. This whole canto is focused on that word calm or peace or solace, this balm for the great sadness he feels. And again, as I record this, we are in the midst of the pandemic crisis, and we all are ill at ease, right? This need for calm, for something to give us peace is there. So we're in the same position that Tennyson is in. But he's playing with the thought that, starting with the previous canto, that is this calm anything more than a function of my fancy, my imagination, and does it do anything? He's going to give us calm in the morning in this Lincolnshire scene where he lived in the rectory at Somersby in Lincolnshire at this point when he wrote this. And from those high uplands, this vista, there would be different stands of trees, but it rolls down towards the sea. So he's giving us this panorama. So it's starting with this picture of terrestrial calm, but it's going to end up with him back in the deep, as it were, in that not realized possibility that he puts before us in the very last stanza of the previous canto, this fathom deep body in the brine. And what I think we're seeing is a general shift from eros to thanatos. That is, the great love that he feels for his friend is beginning to surrender to a desire to sleep and rest, a different kind of calm than to the calm that we would find above ground, a calm that we would find under the sea. He starts off calm as the morn without a sound. Strange, because he qualifies that without qualifying it. He says, and only through the faded leaf, the chestnut pattering to the ground. So you hear these nuts dropping to the ground. It's not very loud, we're told, but it's not exactly without a sound. So we have a soundless, calm morning, except there's something that's making a little sound. There's something left over, and that's, I think, indicating something ill at ease, with not calm about this person surveying the Lincolnshire wold. So he's looking out across these high uplands, this open space dotted with trees, and he sees peace upon this world, and he sees peace in the dew that drenches the gorse, the evergreen bush with yellow flowers. And appositional to that are the silvery gossamers of the dew that twinkle green and gold, reflecting the gorse. And then he goes on, calm and still light on yon great plain that sweeps with all its autumn bowers. So you've got those stands of trees and crowded farms and lessening towers. So now you see towers that are somehow going away from him, but it would make more sense if he were moving. So I think you have the beginning of a flight, a panoramic flight that he's beginning to take, because he's, as we'll see, it leads into the next canto, he's kind of flying away, so the towers are getting smaller to mingle with the bounding main. So he's it's kind of a suggestion, a gesture towards the sea there. And then we have one, just putting down one stanza here on the board, how insistent it becomes, right? Calm and deep peace in this wide air. So I think he's kind of taking off. Calm. These leaves that redden to the fall. What a powerful phrase. It's an autumn scene, certainly. So you've got that straightforward description, but it's also a sense of you've got the lapse here, the fall. You've got this kind of ripeness for an entry into a realm of death, as it were. And in my heart, if calm at all, if any calm, a calm despair. Just a brilliant insistence here. And that's not very calm, right? And in my heart, if calm at all, if any calm, a calm despair. So what kind of peace does he have? The peace of despair. And then he starts the next and final stanzas, calm on the seas and silver sleep. So we started with the morning, and now it's silver sleep. We're back into Canto 9, the night voyage of the ship being calm. So he's drawing, instead of having the ship come to him with the body undisturbed, he's flying over to the ship, as it were, and wants to join, leaving morning light behind and going to join the body in sleep. Calm on the seas and silver sleep. He's drawn back to night, right? And waves that sway themselves in rest. We're back to this rocking rest. And dead calm in that noble breast which heaves, but with the heaving deep. Now that the first notion is that the body is on the ship and it's heaving with the heaving deep, but that sounds a lot like these roaring wells have got the body and have gulfed him in fathom deep. And you've got this sense, and again Shakespearean, full fathom 5 thy father lies. There's this sense in which Tennyson is joining the body of his friend in the depths of the night. This is going all the way into the darkness, that the only calm he's getting, the only peace he's going to get, is the kind of peace of death. And this, again, goes over into the next canto.